Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be having a look at the brand new wheel rim by VPG, the VPG Stealth. Now I've looked at a couple of VPG wheel rims before which I absolutely loved. Firstly, there was the Elemento Pro, which was a Formula style wheel rim with a screen, and then the VRSPG, which was a Porsche style wheel rim, again with a screen. But this one, the VPG Stealth, is a bit different. It doesn't have a screen. Now, before we get into the video, the usual spiel from me. I am not a reviewer of products. That's not what I do. So this isn't a review. But what I am, though, is a sim racer, exactly the same as you. So that's the opinion you're going to get, that of a sim racer. Now, VPG have loaned me this wheel, so unfortunately, I don't get to keep it. And VPG don't have any input on production for this video. They don't tell me what to say. And I'm in no way affiliated financially with VPG. I'm going to give you my honest thoughts. So we'll switch over to the other camera so you can get a better look. So here it is then, the VPG Stealth. I'll give you a closer look. Now when I first opened the case that this comes in, I mean, all the VPG rims come in a beautiful carry case. It's always a little bit special opening a wheel from VPG. I looked at this and I thought, wow, that's different. But I think that wheel rims are going to look more like this the more we move forward. Quite modern, futuristic looking. But I think you'll agree it looks pretty darn good. And there's the back. Dual clutch, third paddle at the top. So I'll give you some specs on the wheel first of all. So it's 290 millimeters in diameter with a injected molded grip there, you can see, with a nice indentation there for your thumb. It makes it much nicer to hold in the hand. It has a 5 millimeter carbon fiber plate running through the middle of the wheel rim. You can see there, runs through the middle because the front part is a billet aluminium casing on the front and a billet aluminium casing on the rear. So the carbon fiber actually sits in the middle of the wheel rim itself. Also, we've got 5 millimeter carbon fiber paddles on the back, which are beautifully shaped, by the way. The quick release mount there is a work of art as well. If you can see that. Stunning. On the front, we have two thumb encoders on the front, which are horizontal instead of vertical. So you turn them left and right. Then we've got three rotary encoders in the middle. We have got three buttons on either side of the wheel rim there, and a button on either side at the top, and also a funky switch which can be pressed for an extra button. Now, all these, as with everything VPG, they're all automotive grade. So they're not like your thumb encoders that you would find on an entry-level wheel. These are automotive grade encoders, so much, much better. On the back, we have got the three paddles, the third paddle at the top, shifter and dual clutch on both sides. The housings for the paddles themselves, they're billet aluminium as well. So it is a serious piece of kit. It looks much better without the clunky SimHub quick release on. To hold it in your hand actually feels really, really nice. Now, there are four things that I look at when buying a product. Firstly, how does it look? If it doesn't look right, well, you're not going to buy it. Secondly, what's the build quality like? Thirdly, how does it perform? And lastly, is it value for money? Not in any particular order. And we'll come on to all of those at the end of the video. So on the face of it, it's just a normal wheel rim. We've seen 1,000,001 wheel rims, but this one's a little bit different. Can you tell why this is different just by looking at it? Anything? Anything? Well, let's get it plugged in to SimHub and I'll show you. Now, we've got it plugged into SimHub, and as you can see, it looks a little bit different. So all of the buttons and rotary encoders on there, they're all controllable RGB LEDs within SimHub. Now, for example, the three rotary encoders in the middle. All of these have 4 individually controlled RGB LEDs, so you can pick different colors for these. They're like a turquoise color right now. And what I really like about these is, for example, if we change the top color to red and left these ones as blue, there would be no bleed through of light or red color from the top rotary encoder to the middle one. So what you see illuminated there, that stays illuminated in that color. There's no bleed through. Perfect. Now these buttons on the sides here, these are all UV printed. So these aren't stickers. So you can see there's a black cover on them there, and then they etch out whatever you want on your buttons there. So again, there's no bleed through with color through the black there. Really, really, it's like having everything in Ultra HD. It's mental. Like, everything is so crystal clear. And also you can see on there we have more RGB LEDs, and these have 8 individually controlled RGB LEDs, and essentially these are what makes this wheel rim so special. These are controlled by the telemetry in the simulator. So from where I'm sitting now, straight on, I can't see this bar. I've purposely positioned the camera to the side so you can actually see the change in the LEDs. But from where I'm sitting, I can't see these bars. All I can see is the illumination on my gloves. And also these buttons here can be customized with SimHub. So at the moment, these are set up as my spotter left and right. So when car on my right, these will flash. Same on this side. Incredible. Right, so I've jumped into the sim. I've done a nice steady lap around Imola. I'm going to show you a really, really nice feature, which I think is incredible. Now, on the screen here, you'll be able to see when we get going the iRacing Delta bar. I've left that on there for a reason. I'll put the pit limiter on. And we'll get out there. Now, if you keep an eye on the RGBs on the side, when we go through a sector, when we get the Delta bar on screen, you will see this little feature, which I really like. These change colour depending on where you are, whether you're up on the Delta or whether you're down on the Delta. So we'll slow down a bit now. We'll go down the Delta and keep an eye on my hand here, really. Yeah, you can see the lights there, but if you keep an eye on my hand, you can see it's red because we're down on the Delta. And I found myself using this feature quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. Looking at this rather than looking at the Delta. You can see they're illuminated on the right hand side. The slower you're going, the more down on the Delta you are, the redder this will become. Now we'll try and speed up and try and make that go green. And you'll see the quicker we go, the more these will fade away. We'll try and get that into green before the end of the lap if we can. Maybe not. We'll try. There we go. And you'll see as we go to green, keep an eye on these. There we go, look at that. Because we're sitting stationary. So this is all I can see. I can't see this strip here. This is all I can see. And the quicker we're going, the more up we are, the brighter that will become. We'll just keep going until we're well up on the Delta. There, we're well up now, and you can see how green this is on my hand. And the more we go into the green, the brighter it becomes. Really, really cool feature, that. I find myself using that. Well, not even using that. It's just there in your peripheral vision. Don't really need to look for anything. You just know it's there. You just know if you're going quicker or slower. Really cool feature. I like that. Right, we'll go down and we'll go in the pits, and then I'll show you a couple of other cool features that this wheel rim has, which I didn't know that I needed. Some of you may have seen my video where I didn't know I'd put my pit limiter on at the Nordschleifer. Well, we certainly know now. because all of the RGBs tell you it's on. Right, we've jumped into SimHub. We've got the test editor here, and I'm going to show you a couple of features that this wheel rim has. So this is how the wheel rim looks when I'm not in the simulator. This is how I've got it set up. I love the way it looks with the lights off. I think it looks perfect. So when we're in the sim, it changes. These dim down slightly. We get the RPM gauge. Looks a little bit different. So you may have noticed when I hit the RPM limiter in the sim that these center rotary encoders illuminated like so. Now you can change the color of this. You can change the speed in which these flash. You can have them solid if you wanted, or you can flash even quicker than this. It's up to you. Completely configurable within SimHub. Now, if we are running low on fuel, we get this. Now, this is a bright yellow color. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if it's coming across on the camera that well, but that's a bright yellow color. Again, you can configure this to how you want it. You can have a solid yellow light if you want, or flash a bit more, or change the color, whatever you like. But I like that. Pit limiter, we saw that. Now, I'll try and keep my hand on here, actually, so you can see what I can see. Now, I can't see these strips down the side. All I can see is it illuminating my hand. Now, if you wanted to, we could set up the center encoders to illuminate when we activated the ABS, traction control, whatever's on there, you can configure in SimHub. I didn't have that set up. I wasn't keen on it because we're in the TC a lot and the ABS a lot, but it's really important or really useful in iRacing, especially to get an indicator when you are actually in your ABS. You don't really have time to look at your controls to see how hard you're braking. This is a really good indicator to tell if you're in the ABS, but I didn't have it on. So we've got flags here. So we've got black flag. As you can see, the RGBs are illuminating. Then you can see it on my hand. We have got yellow flag. We've got white flag. Blue flag. And green flag. And then spotter left or right, which illuminate these buttons here. I can't seem to get it working properly in the test editor. When I'm racing, when I've got a car left or right, these three buttons flash. So at the beginning, I said that there were 4 things that I look at when buying a product. Firstly, how does it look? Because if it doesn't look right, you're not going to buy it. Secondly, how does it perform? Thirdly, what's the build quality like? And finally, is it value for money? Firstly, let's talk about looks. Now, it's obviously a subjective thing whether you like the look of something or not. But I think this looks stunning. I really do. It's a beautiful looking wheel rim, front and back. I don't know how anybody couldn't like this, to be honest. So I really like that. So that gets a massive thumbs up from me. Really well designed. Beautiful. Secondly, what's the build quality like? Well, as with everything VPG, I can't fault it. Now, I know companies send products out for people to look at. And if I was one of those companies, I would send them out the best of what I had. If I knew there was going to be a video put out on the internet. But I genuinely think that this is the product that any customer is going to get. I don't think VPG send me out a wheel which is like the best of the best that they've got. This, I believe, is what the customer is going to get. And build quality, I've mentioned it on previous videos from VPG, it's absolutely off the scale. It is absolutely perfect. And when I say perfect, perfect. There's loads of little details that you wouldn't really pick up on, such as the carbon fiber paddles, how they are shaped and how they are machined flush to sit on the paddle arm. Absolutely perfect build quality, like second to none. This is a million times better than some wheel rims that I've used before, which cost a similar amount of money. So build quality off the scale, literally 10 out of 10. Now on to how it performs. Ergonomically, it fits really nice in the hand. Now 290 millimeters, it's about right for me, as I mentioned at the beginning. That's where I want to be with a wheel rim. The little indentations in the grips there make it really nice to hold. All of the buttons, these are angled, so those buttons there, they're within easy reach. The paddles are far enough away so there's a nice gap, but still well within easy reach. Everything works as it should. So the driving experience with this was brilliant. The lights, the RGB lights, at first, I must admit, I found it a little bit distracting. Now, I think that was just because that when I saw one of the RGBs light up, I was looking to see if it was accurate, if that was what was happening in this simulator. But after a while, I stopped looking for that and I just got the visual cue, which is always in your peripheral vision. So that was a little bit distracting for the first hour or two. But after that, it was second nature to have those visual cues rather than have to look for that information on the screen. So the driving experience, really, really good. So jumping back really quickly before I forget, to build quality. Now, if I was going to criticize anything, it would be the USB cable. Not because it's a bad USB cable, right? It's a really nice USB cable. Hopefully it'll focus. Really, really nice. Beautiful USB cable. Have I ever called a USB cable beautiful before? I have now. Really nice. I just wish it was a bit longer, don't we all? But maybe another meter on this end. Maybe the coil needs to be longer. Maybe, I don't know. But a little bit longer anyway. I've got an extension there. And twice it disconnected from probably my cheap USB extension. We all cheap out on those, don't we? So it's probably my cheap USB extension. But it did disconnect from the USB extension on here. And that was because a little bit too much tension here. Maybe it's because it's a new USB lead and this will stretch over time. But maybe just another meter on this end would make a huge difference. Now, finally, on to price and value for money. Now, nice things don't come cheap. All right, I'll say that's from the get-go. This isn't an entry-level wheel. This is for an enthusiast who's got a few extra quid in his pocket that he doesn't mind spending on his hobby. So nice things don't come cheap. This is a high-end wheel, right? So the price for this is £1,199 plus VAT plus shipping. So you're approaching 1,500 quid for this wheel rim. Now for that, you get an absolutely beautiful looking wheel rim, but you get the 3 paddles included. They're not an extra. So that's included. So you get the dual clutch, the shifters, and the extra paddle at the top. Is it value for money? Well, I think it is value for money. I think it is value for money. You know me, I like to have nice things. I do have some nice equipment. And I don't mind spending a little bit of extra money that I've got spare on my hobby, which this is my hobby now. Would I buy it right now? Probably not. I wouldn't buy it now because I've got the VR SPG. I bought that one. So I wouldn't replace this with that one. Although I don't really look at the screen on the VR SPG as much as I thought I would. And I'm sure you guys out there that have got screens on wheels, you look at them now and again, but most of the information is actually on the simulator that you look at. So I don't look at a screen as much as I thought I would. So if I didn't have the VR SPG, would I buy this instead? Possibly. Quite possibly. If I was given an option of this or the VR SPG, I don't know if I'd be able to decide between the two of them. That's how much I like this. And I absolutely love my VR SPG. So yeah, I think it's value for money. Definitely value for money. Although it's not cheap. Like, I know, like, let's be real. 1,500 quid on a steering wheel for your computer game. It's mental. But those that are enthusiasts don't mind spending that kind of money. I've done it many times. I've spent nearly £1,000 on a gear shifter. What's that about? So yes, I think it's value for money. And you wouldn't, this video, I know this video won't do this wheel rim justice. Just how nice this wheel rim is. It's absolutely perfect. So I've got no financial link with VPG at all. So I don't have any affiliate links. The link that you'll see in the description is just to VPG. Nothing to do with me. I don't get any kickbacks if you buy one of these. It doesn't matter to me. If you like it, buy one. I would highly recommend it if you can. But if you don't want to buy one, don't buy one. It's literally no skin off my nose. So I'll leave a link down below in the video description if you want to go and check it out. Thank you to Manny at VPG for loaning me this wheel. I am a little bit sad to give it back though. So that maybe makes me think that I would buy it right now. I hope I don't buy it right now because Julie would go mental if I bought another wheel rim. So I am going to be sad to see it go. So thank you to Manny though for sending me it, to loan me it, to give me a really early look at their new product. So I feel genuinely privileged. But have a look at the link in the description below if you are interested in buying. And I will say from experience, the customer service and experience when you buy something from VPG, it's perfect. It's second to none. But as always, thank you for watching. Have a great